Welcome to the McAllister Report. We join John McAllister, top football evaluator, as he shares wisdom and interviews coaches and athletes from around the country. Enjoy today's podcast.
Hello, I'm John McAllister, and I'd like to welcome you to the John McAllister Report. And today on Around the State, I'm going to talk with a junior linebacker, 2025 linebacker from Akron, Hoban, who recently committed to Ohio State as a linebacker. Eli Lee has gotten bigger. He's 6'3". He weighs 219 pounds and a lot different than I saw him last summer at camp. Very, very strong, very dedicated, very honest, and a very hard worker. I really enjoyed my interview with him. So enjoy my video podcast with Eli Lee, Akron Hoban linebacker, and a recent Ohio State commit. Thank you. Okay, like I said earlier, my guest today is Eli Lee, and it's kind of nice and neat because I've never met him until today. So a lot of the players I see over the years, I've never met him. Like I said earlier, Eli comes from Akron Hoban High School, and a very, very good program. How are you this morning, or this afternoon, excuse me? How are you, Eli? Good?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Good. And, let's talk about the uniqueness because you've committed to Ohio State, okay?
I have.
And tell me a little bit about that commitment.
I mean, really, I got offered. I don't know if you would say it was an early offer, but I mean, I got offered I was week 7 of our regular season. It was our game against Walsh. Coach Jim Knowles came and watched me play, and then a few days later, I got the call telling me him and James Laurinaitis both called me on a FaceTime, just basically got straight to the point and said, "You have an offer from Ohio State." And then they talked to my family for a while on the call and stuff like that. And then, I mean, I waited a little bit to see like what else would really happen. And then I really just said, yeah, this is the place for me. It wasn't even close to anywhere else.
Well, that's really good. That's good. Like we talked earlier, I told you what I thought. And I mean, you're what I would look for in an inside linebacker because you're going to get bigger and stronger, which is normal. You're only a junior, and you're going to get, and you talked about getting that twitchy muscles, change of direction. I think you have that. I watched you on the highlights, your highlight films. Sometimes you can turn and get coverage, and we'll talk about that later. Sounds really good. Okay, where did it all start for you, Eli? When did you start playing ball? When did you start doing those things?
I mean, I've been playing football since I was probably 6 or 7 years old. I mean, I grew up playing Mogador football. It's a little school kind of close to Hoban.
What was that school?
Sorry, what?
What school was that?
It was Mogador.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up there. It was a small school. I just really went up through all of youth and junior high there, and then we kind of made the decision that we were going to come over to Hoban for high school.
And that's a tough decision sometimes.
Yeah.
But I hate to say this, but it's usually the best decision.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely worked out for us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. And I'm an old football coach, but it's still, you really got to look out for yourself.
Yeah. It was really up to me. My parents said, it was really my dad mostly. He's the football guy. He really is like, you can either go to Hoban and see how it all works out if you really want to go play college football at a high level and you got to work for it and stuff like that. Or I could have stayed at Mogador. I still probably would have went to college for football, but I mean, the level wouldn't have been the same. And I wanted to take that next step and get better and go big time kind of.
But I think it's really it is a good move that you made.
Yeah, it was really, I mean, I had to think of myself. I mean, I left all my friends from my old school and everything like that. So it was tough, but I mean, it worked out.
Super. super. Say you mentioned your dad. Your dad, is there anybody? Is your dad the only one? Is there somebody else that kind of pushed you along the way and is kind of patting you on the back and on the butt and everything else to keep
I mean,
working hard?
it's really just been my dad. I mean, some other family members like my uncles and my grandpa, they're all with me too, but my dad's the main one that's like, all right, let's go, you know?
That's really good.
Yeah.
Super. What are words you live by, Eli? What are, like, I tell these every time I do an interview, I've got posters and be the best and,
Yeah.
have the energy. I mean, I'm an old guy and I still have energy. So any kind of slogan you live by or cliche?
I wouldn't really say I have a slogan or anything like that. I just think that, I mean, really hard work like pays off really. I mean, it's
Right.
just how hard you work for something and you'll get it really. I mean, I just every off season, every chance I've gotten really, I've been working out, getting bigger, faster, stronger, just better, trying to get to that next level. And I'm still working. I got many things I got to improve on, and I've improved on a lot of things. So, I mean, it's really just how I have to be.
Yeah. I, again, agree with you, and you're young.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you may not think that, but I do. And you've got the future's so good. And okay, how's school going at Hoban?
It's good. I mean, so Hoban, it's a different kind of school a little bit.
Right.
Since it's a private Catholic school. So, I mean, the grade scale is a little bit different. The classes are all a little bit different, but I mean, it's going real well for me.
That good or bad?
Good, real good.
Okay. I mean, that they push those grades.
Yeah. It's like they prepare you for college really well.
That's really super. That's so super. Okay, I have a couple of silly questions.
Okay.
Now, here's the first one. If you had a chance to hang out with somebody for one day or change places with somebody for one day, 6 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock at night, who would it be?
I would say
It could be anybody. What?
one person I could trade selves with for a whole day. I would just say my dad, just to see how his workday goes and stuff like that.
Super. That's an honor to him. Now,
Yeah.
what about a sports celebrity or somebody like that? Who would you trade places?
I mean, it would help me Tommy Eichenberg for a day, really, just to see how his day goes. So I already know what I'm getting into when I get there.
Yeah, Tommy Eichenberg, I've known him for a long time.
Yeah.
When he was at St. Ignatius and stuff. And
Oh, yeah.
he made himself a football player. I mean, he was good, but he's really, really made himself really good.
Yeah.
I
love watching him.
Okay. Any top sports moment for you so far? You've played 3 years at Hoban and junior. Is there? I call it scrapbook time almost. Is there any time that you really remember that sticks out, and 10 years from now, your buddies will be talking about it? Anything so far?
My sophomore year, that state semi game against Massillon was probably my one game or like moment. I had a pretty good hit on their quarterback that game. That would probably be my moment so far.
Good. Hopefully there are many more, right?
Hopefully, yes.
That's really good. Okay, let's talk about football. You're a linebacker, 6'3", 220.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know people won't agree with this, but put on maybe 5 more pounds.
Yeah.
But don't get too big now.
I'm not going to get too big now.
Don't get too heavy. I guess. Okay.
I got to move.
Man, not everybody thinks that. And when we're talking about that, and you didn't do this on the highlights I looked at and everything, don't take on those blockers square. You want to work through those. I mean, the old days they did that, but you can't do that now.
No.
What are some of your strengths? Yeah, you're an inside linebacker, and primarily right now. You don't know, but you don't want to give that up right now. So, what are your strengths? What do you feel are your strengths at linebacker?
I would say just my read and reaction to the ball, where the ball's going to place, stuff like that. My fast moving downhill, just really dissecting what they're doing and attacking the ball.
Well, that's really good. And I agree with you. You play downhill really well,
Yeah.
and you can change direction, like we talked about earlier, going downhill. It's not like sometimes you maybe overcommit to the outside, but not very often. And,
No, yeah, yeah.
what else do you say? What else does
I would say my next strength.
Yeah.
I would say my hit power, I guess.
Okay. What about if I said you play well and you can in open space and you can tackle in open space? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Open space, which is good.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that you need a little bit better staying on your feet when you make tackles?
Yeah, I
Sometimes
do.
and you won't be able to get away with that eventually, but you're kind of dropping to your knees and stuff. Not being critical,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think, once you explode on contact a little bit better, then get your hips up in there and everything else. Okay, those are some things I really liked, and I think the thing that we talked about, and I think all linebackers is you work through a defender to get to the ball carrier. You work through him. You don't take him head on. That doesn't mean you're not tough. That means you're smart.
Yeah.
You don't take him head on because then you can't do anything. I think even where you're going at Ohio State, some of those other rookies or some of these other guys coming in the past, they thought they had to take on blocks in high school.
Yeah. I mean, how I think of it and how I've been taught, and just really, it's kind of obvious. If you go head on with a 300+ pound 6'5" guy, it doesn't matter how big or strong or fast you are. That's usually a loss. So I mean, don't want him getting up into you.
Yeah, for sure. I saw you had an interception down there too for a touchdown, didn't you?
Yeah, I did against St. Ed's. Yeah,
that's really good. And another thing that's going to really help you, and you just mentioned it there, your schedule. You're not playing a lot of chopped liver teams. You're not playing.
No. You're
playing some competition. You play Massillon, you play St. Ed's, and you play a couple out of state schools. And
I think it was about 5 out of our. So we had 9 regular season games. I think it was either 5 or 6 teams we played against were state champions the year before that.
Yeah. But that makes you better.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
Competition and
competition makes us all better. Now, really change direction. I think you do a good job at that, and we've talked about it. You understand that. Yeah. I was looking for one more note here. Hips through the centers, and when you tackle it, you got to drive your hips through. But all things that you're going to get better and better at. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go another silly question. Oh, not a silly question. What are your thoughts on film study? I've really gotten into that question about studying film.
Yeah, that's one of the most important things you can do, really. I mean, all week, offense and defense is kind of separate at Hoban. So, our defense would talk every week. We'd watch film together. We'd be texting each other in group chats. Film is very important for our team and very important to me. Like we got to know what we're going up against. We got to have preparation. Just anything helps at all.
I'm sure you'd have access to Ohio State video somehow and watch those guys and see how they play linebacker and see if you can pick up any clues, good or bad, that they might be doing. Because I think those guys play pretty well at linebacker down in Columbus.
Yeah, I like watching them. I've been an Ohio State fan my whole life, so it's really been fun.
Have you been an Ohio State guy?
I always have been, yes.
Okay, well, yeah. Okay, I was going to say something funny, but what do you think are your strengths as a football player?
You mean as like what I do well, or
overall football player? What are your strengths?
I would just say, really just making plays, making tackles when we need them, just in general, just making tackles or making big plays for like our defense and shutting the offense down.
Good. Football is so much about energy. okay, having the energy. Now you're going to be a senior, and people, players are going to look to you. What kind of an energy do you bring to Hoban? Going starting here in December, in January, and going all the way through, but more so when you start in August or July. What energy are you going to bring to the team?
I mean, I really know I got to be one of the main leaders this year. I mean, I'm a senior. I'm committed to a big school. I'm expected to take that step. I mean, I was a leader more so for the defense, like with the play, like blitz calls, coverage, stuff like that, getting our D linemen to move where they need to be, everything like that. But this year, I'm gonna have to be, and I'm gonna step towards more of like the whole team leader. And really, I'm not going to be making long speeches, or I'm not going to be doing anything like that. But I mean, I'm going to get our team ready, and we're gonna play.
Okay, that's really good. I think I have another question for you with that.
Yeah.
So you're going to be yourself, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to be yelling and screaming and stuff if that's not who you are. Right?
I'll be yelling and screaming at like more so like within the play, like if someone's not where they need to be or they're not trying, I'm going to be on them. But I mean, I'm not going to be making speeches before the games or doing anything like that. No.
Yeah, that's really good. And plus, you can lead by example too.
Yeah. That's what I've done my whole life.
That's really good, Eli. Okay, we talked about energy. Go back. What's the best thing about playing football? What's the best thing?
I've been saying this since I was little. It's just hitting people.
And you don't get in trouble, right?
No, you can't get in trouble.
It's really good. It's really good. Okay. Was there ever a time when the light came on for you, when the switch came on, when you said, hey, I know your coach and pretty well. Is there any time when a light came on for you so far?
I mean, are you talking about more of like high school or like this year?
No, high school.
In high school, I mean, so going into my sophomore year, I didn't start my freshman year. We just all played freshman football.
Yeah.
So my sophomore year, I came in. They didn't know exactly where they wanted me to like where they wanted to put me yet. So I practiced
You're playing safety, weren't you?
No, I was playing more of like an edge to start off.
Okay.
And then, so I practiced through 2 days really at edge, and then right before week 1. And then week 1 came around, I started at edge the first few series, and we were getting ran up the middle. And so my coach told me, he's like, we're moving you back to middle right now. So I went back to middle. I was like, all right, I got to just make every tackle I can, try to make every play. And then after that, really, I've just tried to get better at middle. Really, that's been my main focus, just make tackles.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty good. You had to step it up there, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to come and recruit you. Let's pretend like, okay, what is the best quality that you have as a person? Don't tell, away from the skills of football, what's your best quality that you have?
I would say that I'm pretty calm guy. I mean, I'm pretty level-headed. I guess. I mean, I'm just myself, really. I'm not out to impress anybody or anything like that. I just am who I am.
Okay, that's really good. Really good. 2 more questions. Okay. What do you want? Not what do they say, but what do you want your teammates to say about you starting workouts in January? For the whole season, what do you want your teammates to say about you?
I want my teammates to say about me is I want my teammates to just really say, like, he's the leader of this team. We're winning because he's on our team. You know what I mean?
And say that again.
I said I want them to talk about me as if like he's the leader of this team. Okay. He's we're winning because Eli's on our team and he's got us and we're gonna have his back too.
And that's a key, right?
Yeah.
Each other's back, right?
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. In closing, what advice do you give to young people in football? Like say, okay, what as freshmen? Now you're going to be a senior, and then what do you tell freshmen, especially the ones that are dragging a little bit, or especially sophomores that are? What are you going to tell them? You're a leader. What are you going to tell them?
Yeah. The work you put in the off season, not just with lifting, if you lift with your school or lift by yourself, but the work with your speed and how you move really matters so much. Like that is the main key.
Good, and to stay with her, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, congratulations on your offer, your acceptance of as a commitment to Ohio State.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's got to be exciting. It's got to be. And I read some articles about you. You're just going to try to handle that and do it. It's already done now. Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. And
Thank you.
How will it? Okay. How will that pressure affect you, do you think?
I mean, definitely now that my name's out there, teams will be more focusing on me this year, especially because a lot of seniors left, a lot of playmakers left. So I'm one of the guys back, so they could key on me a little extra now, And then I'm not going to let the pressure get to me. Really, I'm just going to play football how I always have, and just not really change.
Again, thank you for being on my show. I really appreciate it. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for having me.